Well, as you guys can see, we are in the car now. For the first time, I'm gonna take this thing for its first drive. I apologize, you probably won't be able to see my face or anything like that. I just have the camera set up kind of to where you can just come along for the ride, I guess. Like I'm your Uber. As you can tell, everything is kind of still, you know, a mess in here. I got the wideband sitting over there and the boost gauge sitting over there. You probably won't even really be able to see them from where you're at, but more or less just going for a ride, trying to see how this thing drives. You know, just check over after I'm done driving it, make sure there's nothing leaking or anything like that going wrong. I did kind of just, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but I did kind of just make up a base fuel table and a base ignition table, which is just, I don't know, just from my general knowledge of tuning cars in the past. Obviously every car is different. Hopefully this, what I've made, will be okay for now. Naturally, when you go wide open throttle on any car, their tendency is to just dump a bunch of fuel into the motor anyway. So, you know, there's that, I guess. But I'm not really going to push it too hard. Kind of just want to drive it around and just enjoy it for a little while. So I don't have any check engine lights currently. The ABS light is flashing at me. I don't know why, but it just is. I'm not really too concerned about it. It's about 60 degrees out right now. The car is probably disgusting from the outside, but anyway, let's just go for a ride. Well, so far everything is driving normally. Of course, the check engine light came on. I brought my scanner with me, so you can see what that code is. Alright, the code is for the downstream O2 sensors, which no big surprise there. As I mentioned earlier, they're literally just plugged in and just dangling there, not doing anything. So keep in mind, stock computer running with the piggyback, the majority of the work is going to be done by the stock computer. So in reality, if you guys use piggybacks, the engine should run normally under normal circumstances. The computer really shouldn't, you know, trip out or anything if you're just doing light load, driving around town, driving on the freeway. Only when you start to get in a boost is when things should really start to be taken over or influenced by the piggyback. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, it is connected and it's still there and it's still working. Give it a little gas here, see what it sounds like. Oh, that sounds cool. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but yeah, I can hear the wastegate opening. I only have a 4-pound spring in here right now, just trying to test things out. So, and I am running the stock exhaust, so that's definitely very restrictive. So I probably won't even see 4 pounds of boost. I might see like maybe 1.5 or 2 pounds maybe. So, but it does sound really cool. Blow-off valve sounds nice too. All right, better chill out. I said this is going to be an easy drive. I do have the fuel pressure regulator set at about 50 psi right now for base pressure. I think stock, I don't know what the stock rating is, but I know it's not that high. So I am asking a lot of the injectors, or more of the injectors than normal. So tell it's much faster than it used to be. And I'm only making, the boost gauge says I'm making about, I don't know, 1 pound right there, just accelerating. And it's definitely already, I can tell it's a lot quicker than it was. I mean, we're not breaking records here, but compared to a stock IS, definitely you can notice. Yeah, so I haven't done anything else to the car from the last video you guys saw. I mean, obviously did the wiring and whatnot, I got that all finalized, but aside from that, the car is pretty much how it was before, so hope that everything is all right. Man, I gotta get a bigger spring in there. That wastegate's opening like immediately, but I don't know, maybe it's time for a catback exhaust actually. Haven't really got on it yet, but I don't know, I might try and stab the throttle here in a minute and see what it does. I mean, I'm not expecting it to be, you know, extremely fast or anything, but I just want to make sure that the fueling is right, because I am still on the stock 250cc injectors, and I mean, those aren't really good for probably much more than, I don't know, maybe 230 wheel, maybe 225 wheel horsepower, somewhere around there. It's probably not rated too high. Alright guys, I apologize for the wind, but as I mentioned in the car, I just have my two breather lines just kind of just running down into the, I don't know, just in front of the bumper down here. That's extremely temporary, just there. So, but I don't see any leaks. I don't see anything smoking or anything like that. Let's check another car. I did put the splash shield and everything back on, so all that's together. Obviously got the front bumper on. Intercooler is looking pretty nice in there. I did have to trim some of this out on this side in order to fit the intercooler in there, because that pipe right there is really hitting the fog light actually, and it's not even the best now. I do need to trim it a lot more probably. So in case you guys with the cxracing intercooler wanted to know, you are going to have to trim a lot of this side off over here. I trimmed off some of it, but I didn't want to go too crazy with it. So aside from that, got the little spoolie boy in there going. What else did I do? I didn't show you guys. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned before, these things have air assist for the injectors. I went on ahead and just capped those off. I put caps and hose clamps on them, and so far seem to be all right. I don't know, we'll see in the long run how it goes. My evap is kind of just, this normally goes into the intake, but it's fine just there. I'm not looking at past smog or anything right now, but I don't know, everything seems okay, guys. I don't see anything out of the ordinary. Speed looks good, frame looks good. So yeah, let's just, got the AEM sitting right here. Not even hot. I mean, it's a little warm to the touch, but I mean, it is an engine bay, so it's gonna work out all right. I went actually and bought a longer cable, so I just ran that down and into the cabin in there, and that way I can tune from the inside of the car. But yeah, I mean, I think it's doing good, guys. So let's get back in the car and see if we can maybe do a full throttle run, you know, at least in maybe third gear or something, and see what it sounds like. The wastegate is so loud. Man, I wish you guys could feel like it's, I mean, I've been in a lot of fast cars, and obviously everything is relatively speaking, but compared to the stock IS, even on this 1 or 2 pounds of boost, this thing is a lot quicker. I mean, I don't know, stock IS is probably put down about I know this is an automatic, so a little less than a manual. This thing probably puts down like 170 wheel horsepower, maybe. It feels probably around like maybe 200, 205 right now, which doesn't seem like a lot. Maybe 210. Doesn't seem like a lot, but you'll definitely notice it for sure. Holding about 12.3 on the air fuel ratio, and it actually went down to like 11.8, which is a little bit too rich, but that's all right. I'd rather have rich than too lean. I was breaking up a little bit as well, so probably just a little bit too much fuel, but overall, I mean, it was pulling good. That was third gear. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, wide open throttle on any stock ECU is gonna just go open loop on the O2 sensors and just go to a predetermined fuel map, which basically is just dumping a bunch of fuel into the motor to make it happy. So I'm not really worried about damaging anything because it should be fine. But yeah, that's solid right there. It actually held perfect. And then the timing, I have it set up to pull 1 degree of timing for every pound of boost I make. So obviously I'm only making 2 pounds of boost, so it's only going to pull 2 degrees of timing out as I'm getting into boost, and it recognizes that on the map sensor. I'll definitely, if you guys want to see like a video of how to kind of go through this FIC and how to you know, tune in, just how to navigate around in the FIC, just let me know in the comments below. I'm, you know, should be able to put something together to help you guys out, so that way you know how to add fuel, take it away, how to add timing or take it away, and there's O2 sensor maps in there, how to set up the MAF clamp. Man, when I just got on it back there, everyone was staring at me walking on the street, because I'm telling you, this wastegate is so loud. I have to think about recirculating that back into the exhaust if it's going to be that loud. It does sound crazy though. Man, can't wait for this thing to make like 5 to 7 pounds of boost. It'll probably be pretty quick. I don't know if you guys can see in front of me, but Neon SRT4, I call them rental cars, because I mean they're just Dodge Neons, but I'm kind of sad they don't make them anymore. They're actually pretty fast cars, you know, back in, I think they came out in like 2005 or something like that, 2006, and like for under 20 grand, it was the fastest car you could buy. Back home. All seems well so far. Took it on a pretty long drive in the city, you know, got it nice and hot, make sure everything had a good chance to get a good heat cycle. little spinning back there that you can't see on camera, but yeah, so far so good. Fuel pressure is still, I don't know, around 50-ish or so. Well guys, I have to say the first drive went very good. Didn't see any issues at all. Nothing was leaking, nothing smoking. It did smoke a little bit on startup this morning, but I figured I was touching around the exhaust manifold, so probably had some oil and stuff from my fingers or whatever on there, but no smoking as of now, so I'm happy with that. But overall, I think it did good. Only made about 1.5 pounds of boost, which is, I know is not crazy, but again, I only have a 4-pound spring in there, and the stock exhaust is very restrictive, so the turbo's trying to, you know, push all that air out, but obviously it's not going to make it through that. So I don't know, I'll probably have to get a catback exhaust on there, something pretty big, like a 3-inch, because the downpipe is 3-inch and the other pipe is 3-inch, and it's going into like a 2.5-inch or maybe even smaller pipe. So that has a resonator in it and it has a muffler in it, so it's definitely very restrictive. But aside from that, seat of the pants feels awesome, and it sounds great. I really hope you guys were able to hear the blow-off valve and the wastegate opening, but it held good AFRs. Nothing else seemed to be wrong, so I'd say for a first drive it definitely went well. Wasn't able to really push it too hard, but I'm hoping that I'm probably going to swap out that wastegate spring that's in there and maybe bump it up to like maybe a 5 or 6 pound spring or something around there, because again, I'm on stock injectors, so I don't really know the limit of those, but I mean, that's why we're here, is to test it. That way I can tell you guys what definitely is the limit of the stock injectors. So I know I've heard things and read things, but obviously everybody lives at different elevations. All that's going to change. So for my particular situation, I'll see what I can push these stock injectors to. But as of now, I think I'm going to leave it. I think the only one other thing I want to do probably is delete the butterfly valve that's in the intake, but that's not really something I have to do right in the second. But yeah, first drive success. So I appreciate you guys watching these videos as usual, and definitely hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share with your buddies. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.